Good morning from me. I'm Sharron from Inner Sanctum Studios. I'm a messenger for Gaia. Today is the 9th of February. So in actuality, we're really in a 10-10 day today. So it's definitely, you might be finding lots of completions. So for me, this month has definitely shown up as this month of two halves of two parts, where the first, hi Stacey, where the first half of the month we are like cleaning up, spinning off the last of the debris, and that's certainly. Good morning, Carolyn. Oh, is that right? Yeah, so we're in a lot of these completions, a lot of these endings. So the 9 is all to do with endings, and it is the 9th today. But when you add it up numerologically, it comes to a 10. And then the universal day is a 10 as well. So the 9 is about the endings, and the 10 is about the kind of absolute completion. Hello, Anna. Hello, Tina. Hello, Holger. Welcome. So the energies today are, to me, I might read to you what I've been writing about the energies for today, because the energies of this month are very applicable to the divine counterpart journey. So how I really see this is that the divine masculine are very much in their completion of their learnings about themselves and who they are becoming and who they wish to become and how they become it. And it's becoming more aligned for them with their soul purpose, with their divine mission, and of course the divine feminine, their divine counterpart, plays the counterbalance to that. And so I want to say that today is a day to place a breath into the space between you and your divine counterpart, between you and the world, between the world and the universe. So it seems that another aspect of this month, which applies directly to divine counterparts, is this notion that we will form collective template groups or collective mission groups, and that this month is a time for that as well. So many of you might find that you are touching base and connecting in with people for whom you feel more than a strong connection. It's with people that you might feel an alliance. So people who you might be operating with the same kind of forward movement, the bigger picture vision, the skill sets that you have are complementary, because it shows up to me a bit like a biscuit that's been formed from an icing nozzle, where it's extruded out onto the tray and baked. So there's lots of loops and crossovers, and that's kind of how these templates are showing up. That kind of design. And I believe that there'll be a lot of this coming in over this month. A lot of people going, oh yeah, I'm getting greater clarity now. I know where the angles are in terms of what I do. I'm starting to see how my counterpart might, I want to say, be the counterbalance to that. But there's often, it shows up to me a little bit like if you imagine a tightrope, and each of you is coming from the opposite end. And sometimes, I think in the last few days, one of those showed up as the tightrope being like this really deep loop, as though there would be this sliding into the middle, and it was in the middle point that it broke open and created the new. But you'll have your own version of that. And certainly to me, it always shows up in that space between. It's the conjoint point of what you do and what they do in terms of mission and purpose. There'll be some interactive weaving or dance that creates something likely, I believe, to be brand spanking new. So I know that you may have heard that already, but this idea that as we pass this, let's see, we began this month with a 10-day as well. But as we pass that sort of point in the middle, so thinking about these kind of general energies, we're in a 28-day month, we're in a month of two halves, and then Valentine's Day is about in the middle, isn't it? And so the energies that come in through the energies of Valentine's Day, which I have to say I have strong aversions to the consumerist approach to that, but the energy of that. So I'm speaking to the energy of that. That sits in the middle of this month. So I see that the work for twins, if you like, or divine counterparts, is in this first half. It's this clean up self. It's attend to any woundings that have come up, because we're in this time where the deepest and most old ancient woundings might be arising. And so the cleaning up of that, and then I like to see it as it's like in the spin cycle. We're in the end of the spin cycle in the washing machine, and it's very fast. You know how that centrifugal force works. That's what I see we are doing. That's what I see the divine masculine are doing. And oh yes, so Carolyn's just saying the infinity symbol, I can see how energy flows around it now. Yeah, so you can see how that kind of extruded biscuit could have permutations of that or crossovers of that. And I think I saw a template for 2 sets of twins earlier this week that showed up a little bit like forming a 4-leafed clover, or it might have been 4 twins on it. So 4 sets of twins. So it was like they weave into the center. They add something into the center. But we will make decisions, form collaborative groups, and create new templates for all aspects of our world and our new earth. And this is our work. It's not just the work of twins, but it is the work of twins in connection to relationships, in connection to the way in which partnerships form, in which people collaborate in their intimate relationship. And that was a word that came through, actually, that word intimate. So I see groups of everyone as well in the future. So when we are laying in these templates in terms of relationship, there are other beings who are laying in templates for other things. And so I see this whole sort of overview of collaboration, including many people from all ages. So it's this time to be in completion of the lessons, and this first half of the month, it's especially lessons that relate to the spiritual. So it's what's important to you for your fulfillment, for your happiness, and how that looks and feels for yourself. And it's about being in very good practice of present moment, because it's very fast. You won't catch it if you don't stay in present moment. What is ready to go and what is ready to come. And we're really learning to kind of dance around in the energy of frequency. So to me, this will be our energy of exchange is frequency. This will be our energy of communication, frequency. This will be our energy of alert, frequency. We will recognize the frequencies that bang up against us and create resistance. We will learn the frequencies that make us more open, that rise us up, that bring in blending and harmony and smoothness. And we will begin to work more and more through this currency of frequency. So we're in this greater exploration. The masculine especially, they're beginning to explore their world in terms of energy. They might not yet be recognizing that as frequency, but certainly to be seeing this as energy and feeling it. So the masculine are really beginning to be in their feeling body, in their sensory body, and in their hearts. And it's the love, I want to say, it's the love that tips the scales. It's the love that creates this pull, this push, this motion of shifting. What did I read that bit? Oh yeah. So I was given this word intimacy a few days ago, and I got this when I asked about why I was given that word. Divine masculines are wanting this now, this intimacy on all levels, and they now know that this can only be achieved and found with you, Divine Feminine. So remember, we're also in, there's a lot happening, isn't there? We're also in this sort of trinity, this rebirth, this deeper discovery of self and the rebirthing of the new, of who we are, and finding and seeking that internal balance of each of the aspects of self, the masculine, the feminine, and the holy divine child. I just want to say in here, because you're a powerful group of people, that one of the kind of alarming things to me is this whole transsexual, transhuman, and androgynous agenda. And that it's being increasingly inserted into conversations, both grooming your children, my children, our children, through television, movies, and books, to believe that they have a choice about their gender, and that this insertion is happening in as early as preschool. And so, and I want to tell you, I've made a pledge to myself. I will never ever give a child a book again unless I have read it from cover to cover. And, the good spin-off about all of this is, of course, this will create a greater movement to homeschooling or to community schooling. Oh, am I back now? I don't know why that would have happened. Can you hear me now? Can someone let me know in the chat if you can hear me, or if I've frozen entirely? Okay, so you can hear me, Tina? Okay. All right, I'm not sure what happened, unless there's censorship going on for some of the language that I used. So what was the last thing that you heard? Anyway, so I was just talking about this sexualization, this idea that children are being informed as early as preschool that they have a choice about their gender. And so that agenda we must be vigilant about, because it's being intruded in all sorts of ways. So Divine Counterparts Collective. So many of the divine masculines are more consciously juggling and sorting and sifting new and higher ways of being, and also in consciousness. They're doing it in this way of higher consciousness. So this is becoming a part of their processing, their exploration, um, looking at the old, lower dimensional ways of being and operating and communicating, and juggling this with the higher now. And they are really, even if they haven't yet shifted out, they have really come to witness and observe the limitations of the old way. And so as more of the DM collective processes this and embodies this, we will see this rapid acceleration and movement through the general collective, because remember that they lead, or in my view, they lead the collective. So if you think about the time frame of that, so if you think that it is likely, I mean, we could, that's interesting, some things that Guy said to me this morning, which I'll share with you, but we're licking the edges of this wave, and it is pretty likely that this wave will have come by the middle of April. So we are almost in the middle of February. So we know that these twin connections, that many of them come together to create the expansion of the love wave, the ripple across the planet. So this is the window that we're working in, and time is all in expansion anyway. It's as we are working in present moment time, we're working in the quantum. So we will see this rapid acceleration and growth through the general collective, and we are seeing this awakening. And so we can, whatever we are witnessing and observing, we can see that that's either a reflection of, if we're witnessing that in the divine masculine, that's a reflection of where the collective are going next. And if we're witnessing it in the collective, that's an observation of what the divine masculine is in the process of or has just done. So it's showed up to me like a sorting into baskets process for the divine masculine, as though they are sorting out their study or their workshop, and there's a whole brand new job that they're doing, a whole brand new way of operating. And so all of the old, let's put it this way, when one country swaps over from imperial measurement, from pounds and inches, from pounds and ounces and inches and yards, to millimeters and meters and grams and kilos, then a whole lot of tools become redundant. So all the imperial measurements, a lot of those are discarded, and that's where the masculine are at. So they're putting all the old 3D things into a basket to be discarded, and they're building their basket of tools in this higher dimensional space. So this holds a lot of the energy of momentum. That's what I get around that. And think this process in fast forward. Think watching a movie and putting it on fast forward, an old movie reel, because that is how it shows up to me. So the DMs are clearly seeing the future now, and with you, with their divine feminine, and where they have to go, and this is in real time. So one of the things that has shown up so strongly for this month with the divine counterparts, that collective, is that it's here. It's very grounded. It's very in the physical. It's very right in front of us. It's very in their physical heart, in their physical mind, in their daily consciousness. So a lot of the divine masculine are having experiences of, well, what the hell is going on? Because I cannot get this woman, or I cannot get this person out of my mind. They're in my dreams, they're in my thoughts, they're in my head the whole time. And whereas before they were able to dismiss it, I want to say that now that is virtually impossible for them. It's front and center for them. Yeah, so they're really in the sorting out in real time the physical process with the steps to get there. and working processing through those. There's this realization that turning up or showing up is now the prerequisite. I want to say that if they don't worry about what they have to say, the nervousness goes. So a little while ago, I saw that some of the attributes the divine masculine needed was to come into courage. And now I really see that that's not a part of it for many of them. All they have to do, and that's what they've come to realize, that they've come to recognize, if they showed up on your doorstep and stood there, it wouldn't matter really what came out of their mouths. If it was sweet and loving, it wouldn't matter, as long as it held the energy of that. It wouldn't matter what they said. And so that's kind of broken the back of the nervousness, I want to say, because they've come to that realization. All I have to do is get myself there. All I have to do is front up. So they are now more fortified and not seeking the courage they were a little time ago. They will, yeah, I got this. They will cross that bridge when they get to it. What to say? They'll cross that when they get to it. It's as though they realize they cannot muck this up. They can't get this wrong as long as they show up. This is a little message for the divine feminines. What you have to do is show up to you, for yourself, and you give the connection over to God or to the divine. Okay, there's that little message. I've got little messages woven in here, sorry. And I want to say to you, remember that we're in the energy of the two, the second month. And the energy of the two is all to do with the emotional body. And you could see that that is what the earth is doing. So, earth is going through her process with embodying the emotional body, with clearing it out. And this is what we're doing. So we are bringing in these new codes, and they're quite different again today. I'll read that to you. I'll do a separate video later about that. I'm just squeezing this in before my first client. But it's about the embodiment of the emotions. So what is coming in and coming into those sort of higher level frequencies of emotions, and the cleaning out that goes with that before it's all embedded. But we are in this process of the emotional embodiment. So back to the divine counterparts in general. There are pressure points created from the divine at this time, encouraging alignment and creating squeeze. The divine masculine are feeling increasingly uncomfortable as they are being forced to view their world from a new and different perspective, from a feeling place, from their heart space, and in alignment with higher consciousness. So they will and are discovering that their world no longer suits or works or applies, and that new approaches are required. That as soon as they align with flow and presence, there is movement. So they have come to that realization that it's not their old way of, because they can really make things happen, the divine masculine. So their old way of pushing and moving to make things happen, they have realized that doesn't work for them anymore. And so they have been, I want to say, playing with this new way of being, which is about being in presence and looking for where the energy moves them to be in flow with that. So in this way, they are being carefully and deliberately reschooled by the divine in higher ways of being. So, yep, this first half of February, lots of endings, lots of completions, coming into wholeness and balance, That's what the divine feminine need to do. So you come into your knowing who you are, and today and yesterday there were special energies about the goddess aspect. So I'll get to that. But you come in, how I see it is you come into your wholeness of you as the goddess, as the god, as the priest, as the priestess. And then it is as though you elevate up, and yet you are connected to, but you're elevated up to this higher place in the in our new world, or in the world, ready for the new. And the masculine have to meet you there. And now you're aware of that. And you don't have to compromise that. It isn't that you are whipping them along, it's that energetically they have to meet you there now. And then the connection of those two energies in that wholeness create a higher level. So, coming together in the second half, these partnerships, these connections, in both business and in relationships. Yesterday, if you didn't realise, was a 777 day. So yesterday there were lots of kind of new feelings in the energies, quite sparkly, heightened connection. And I will write about that separately. So today, yes, is the 9th. So today my writing was this very large amount of codes coming in today. You may feel these as bliss feelings, as very still. They have a stillness about them. They kind of have a stability about them. They are weighty, but they're not burdensome. But they're dense, and they feel as though they're coming into the head and the upper spine. They show up as very condensed. And this is if you thought that you were or as if you thought you were in last minute cramming of information before the exam, and today may feel as though you are in the midst of that, and suddenly you've realized that you have forgotten to study an entire topic, and there's a compulsory question in the exam on it. That's how it showed up. Breathe through it. We're in information overload, everyone. So breathe through it. And I want to say how it looks to me. So you can imagine this is like a curtain for a doorway. A curtain for a doorway, and it's made of, so this is how the energies show up. So this curtain is across the world, made of grasses, beautiful grasses that are twisted and plaited and braided, and they're covered in flowers. And there's this vertical nature of these codes coming in, but they show up as all of these blossoms that are sitting on them. They're very close together. They're very vertical, and they're very beautiful. So they also bring in the word that Gaia gave me for the energies today was the word reinstatement. And so this is to do with the goddess codes, which were felt yesterday, that they are being reinstated today in the physical body. So you want to be really open and receptive to these coming in. So contemplate with self, converse with the body, ask, what are the qualities? Who is the god or goddess? Or what are the aspects? Maybe you will hear names. Maybe you will see faces. Maybe you will see images or notice the feelings or qualities. And I got words like peace and freedom, compassion, joy, and higher knowing. And there will be others, of course. If you have cards, if you have goddess cards or oracle cards, you might use those to give you some assistance. But I want to encourage you to look deeply within your emotional body, your heart, your sensory experience, and ask here, what is it that's coming? What What is it that you need to know? So today, please find time to sit still, to contemplate the moment, to feel or notice the qualities of the moment, to write them down. So I am giving you my general energies for the day, and I'm giving them here because I believe they specifically apply to you. To contemplate the moment, to feel or notice the qualities of each moment, and to write them down, to examine them, to ruminate over them, to ponder over how you can bring in more of those qualities into your life over the next few days. So take some small actions to support those, whatever those qualities are. And when I was attuning to that, I got that. Oh, I wrote it actually. So perhaps it is as simple as arranging a vase of flowers after you've saged your house. So some cleaning and then some bringing in the new. That action, I want to encourage you to do that over the next few days. And today would be, a great day to do both of those, the clearing of the old and the bringing of the new, in a physical, tangible, doable, real sense. So Gaia was showing me, so this is really interesting. So you probably won't, none of you will probably want to watch my well, I don't know, there might be new things in there. Oh, there are, but sorry, it will be repeated, but I just feel that you need to hear it. So Gaia shows me this new light, and it really brings me into this soft, quiet, want to cry place. It's so beautiful. It's this new light beginning to peak. Yeah, it was like that. It was like an early dawn light beginning to peek at us. This is the new light. So I mean, we're having new light, new light, new light, but this is the new light, I want to say. It's like a white gold with a blue and purplish tinge. And it brings through the qualities at the moment of clarity, truth, higher wisdom, and empathy and compassion. And so this, of course, is what humanity needs. We have to be, for our earth to change, for our world to change, for humanity to change. We have to sit in that empathy and compassion. Everybody's been through a lot. We've all had different experiences. We've all had different perspectives, and this is part of our learning to understand that that is the case. That there are always many ways to view things. So these qualities are assisting humanity to more clearly step up into passion and purpose and mission. So, re-ask yourself, why are you here? What is your purpose? What will be your contribution to our world, to humanity? I want to say all of this sits in the open stillness of this day. I'm also showing, and again, this is the general reading, but it applies to you because you lead the way. I'm also showing the ascending group. So it shows up to me like gathering in a valley, in a very, just a beautiful valley. The ascending group is gathering in readiness. There's continuously more beings arriving to that circle. They are waiting in excited anticipation and stillness, though. There's this beautiful stillness to it. It feels very much as though we're in the very early dawn light today of our new earth. The light is low in the sky, just illuminating. This is how Gaia was showing it to me. Just illuminating the edges of the shapes in nature. It's a very interesting sign, and I ask what it is, and I'm showing that we will begin to see new ways now of operating, communicating, and being. So this is across the world. So I just want to reiterate that this is really time to be focused on mission, to be focused on coming into your higher energetic space and stillness, receiving the lights, the qualities of the god, the goddess, the priest, the priestess, in that higher space in anticipation. So be excited in anticipation that who needs to come to be with you is in there readiness, or in the getting readiness, and that they know what they are doing. They are stepping into their own levels of mastery. They will do it with mastery because these qualities are beginning to come to the fore in the divine masculine. There's still a spectrum there for them to be navigating and negotiating, but in all of those sorts of siftings and sortings, they are there, and they are definitely in very strong psychic connection about who and where they need to be. And they are doing this, of course. Remember that I believe all of them really are doing this with huge integrity, that they will be navigating it. They know that this is eternal. They know that they have to undo the trappings of their 3D world and programming to, it's like removing the vines, removing the bonds. They know that they have to do that. They recognize they have to rise up above it. That's breaking out. Often the mother programmings, the family and cultural and religious programmings to do with relationships all feed in there, but I believe it's mostly around the mother programmings now about, who is there, who they should be with that in that. So that's part of their breaking out of their 3D complexities of process. Yeah, so let's see if there's any questions. I only have a couple of minutes. Yes, so I saw that Carolyn wrote 12 groups of 12. Yes, that's how the templates show up as well, Carolyn. To me, that guy showed me the 12 of 12, but 12 groups of 12 in terms of counterparts, 12 pairs of 12, and then 12 stacks of those. And let's see what else is here. Anna talking about her and her daughter, talking a lot about helping her classmates who have been utterly confused about their identity and sexuality. Yes. So this is all the intrusion, isn't it? So you look a little bit into social media and you look a little bit into advertising, and you can see a lot of this intrusion in terms of drag queens and transgender. And there's, I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem with the percentage of it, that it's just, it's out of whack. And so there's purpose behind that is not holy and divine. Okay, so Carolyn's saying she's getting messages about a conversation coming, the higher realization, which will flip them from 3D and bring the collective along. Fantastic. That's a good alignment. Someone saying they have to let go of who they thought their DM was. They just kept getting sick every time I thought it was coming. So what I want to suggest to you is, what you do is you say, I know that my divine masculine is coming, and I'm unsure who he is or who they are, and I am calling in the highest divine love and alignment, and I'm trusting that the divine has it. You don't have to go through all of the rationalizing of it in your mind, and it will arrive irrespective of really what you do, but they are due, and this energy is really feeling like we're and that's how it was shown to me, we're now receiving the light, the beginning light of our new earth. That was how Guy was showing that to me today. So I will go now, and I thank you for joining me. And yeah, I I just encourage you to sit with that. Who are who are the goddesses that you feel drawn to? What are the qualities that they hold? And are those qualities that you might want to be pulling in and embodying, and maybe do some mind mapping or some brainstorming about it? There might be qualities from a number of goddesses. You may have recognition of past lives. I want to say that to you, that you may recognize, and I want to hand this to you. This is how I work with it. I believe that um, in terms of soul, that our soul is a fractal of divine. And I believe that in some of these bigger souls that have been on the earth, like the goddesses, and we were them, and like these beautiful, amazing beings from the past, that their soul was either connected to a bigger fractal or a larger number of fractals, and that we might be break-offs of some of those, if you think about it in that regard. And that right now, that is how I recommend that you get through the any ego of it, is you recognize that you were a fractal of that soul, of that goddess is or God, that or a high being, comes as an aspect of you. Then to not have to deal with it's like the elephant. How do you eat an elephant? Bite by bite. We're not recommending we eat elephants, by the way, but it's that idea. And there will be, so I can tell you from my experience that I know a lot about who I have been, and I don't get caught up with how much of anybody I was. But I definitely hold qualities of Artemis, the goddess Artemis. I believe I may have even been all of the goddess Artemis. And I know that I was a physical incarnated daughter of Isis, and lots of us, and I know that I was part of the being Akhenaten, who was the one of the daughters of Akhenaten. So, but how I see it is, when someone says to me, "Well, I was Akhenaten," I say, "Yeah, of course, because we can all have been a fractal of that soul." And so let's not get caught up into competition about it. Be in ease with it, be in sisterhood, be in brotherhood, be in that collective. We're bringing these qualities in from those beings from the past, whether we were part of it or observed it, or wanting to bring those in now, and just allow any ego that comes about, "Oh, I'm not powerful enough to have been that," or "That's way too big for me to claim, so this is why I work with it in this way." You're welcome to take that or throw it away, up to you, but just to see that you are a fractal of that soul, and so you can access those qualities to sit with and embed. And I must go now, so I wish you a beautiful day, afternoon, and evening, and we'll talk again soon. Much love to you. And you are very welcome. Yes, indeed, Carolyn. Absolute power corrupts. Yeah, so it's this idea of this very, smooth streaming of energies that each of us hold and move and flow with.